Hello quilty friends, welcome back. We're going to make the birdhouse from the Blocks to Quilt patterns for our block of the month. This is month 1 and this is the second video. If you've wound up here first, I would get out of here and go find the video to make the patchwork trees. This block is a little bit harder and it's smaller, which smaller is always harder as well. So if you have wound up here instead of the tree video, go find the tree video first, okay? Okay, but we're gonna make a birdhouse in this video. You are going to make 2 birdhouses. And you had the option, you can take any of your brown 3-inch strips and you can use those to cut pieces A through D. Nope. Okay, you can take any of your brown strips, and here I'm gonna make this this is the roof and this is the house. Okay, this is going to be the house part. You can choose any combination of browns that you want to make the birdhouses. You'll use one color for the roof and one color for the house. And then in your other one, you can use a second color for the roof and a different color for the house. The only one you can't choose is this guy. This guy was cut skinnier and he won't be big enough to cut pieces A through D. Okay, this guy can only be used to cut piece G. It is also worth noting that pieces G and I are cut bigger in our block because this block actually finishes 6.5 by 12.5. I made this part bigger than it is in her pattern. Okay, so her pattern, it would have finished here. And so I wanted it to look like this. So I told you how to do that. Okay, so pieces G and I are cut bigger than your pattern tells you to cut them. So pay attention to that. Okay, so let's get started. To get started, we're going to need pieces F and D. Here's D. It's like, where'd they go? You're going to have 2 piece Ds, and you are going to cut them in half on the diagonal. Okay, both of them. If you have a smaller ruler, a 3 by 12, now is a great time to use it. I should have grabbed ours. I didn't think about that. Okay, there's 1. Here's 2. And then you're going to grab your corner pop ruler. Okay, corner pop ruler, just like we talked about in the last video, cut away your corners over here. Trim down your square after you've attached your corners over here. For this step, we are going to use the 3/4 inch lines. So the 3/4 inch cutaway line and the 3/4 inch trim down line, which isn't labeled. It's worth noting that it's on here, but only the half and whole lines are labeled. Okay, so we're going to use this one, the 3/4 between the half and the 1. So we're going to start with our black center, which is piece F. This guy's not laying flat enough for me. And I'm going to go ahead and trim away every corner. It's okay to do this when you know that the corners don't overlap. And by that, I mean, I cut away that corner. Now, if my next corner, for some reason, it said to cut away 2 inches, okay, and I'm going to do that and it's going to overlap. See, it's coming across what I just cut away. You have to add that corner back before you cut it away. But because none of these guys overlap, actually I'm not. I'm going to cut away the 2 opposite ones first, because I just remembered that I did that. I cut away all 4 corners when I did it at first, and then it was a new kind of square, and then I didn't know where to sew my corners back onto. So do yourself a favor, learn from my mistake. Cut away 2 corners first, and then we're going to attach these guys. Remember, you just need your triangles to be approximately equal in size. And then we're going to go sew. Ugh, my thread. It's in the way. the same thing again. Scant 1/4 inch. And I'm gonna trim away all this extra thread. Press your seams flat. These guys just want to curl. What the heck? Okay. I'm going to grab my folding pen because this isn't laying flat. Now I'm going to cut away. I'm going to use my 3/4 inch lines. Wow, this is really hard to see. I can't see this at all. Okay, so I've got my 3/4 inch line and my seam. My edges lined up. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. There we go. Okay, so there's how it looks for the moment. And now we're going to repeat the process on these 2 corners. Okay, so now we're going to cut away these other 2 corners. Helps if you remember what you're doing. Here, I'll turn it so you guys can see it better. 3/4 inch line. And I'm cutting backwards, but this is oriented the way so you guys can see what we're doing, okay? And then 3/4 inch line again, making sure the edges of our black fabric are exactly along the edges of our ruler. Now we're going to grab our other 2 triangles. We're going to do the same thing we just did, and I just flipped mine over and my seam isn't flat. My black fabric is curling. I don't know what's with this black fabric. Good news for you guys, we gave you different black fabric than I've got here, so hopefully yours won't curl. Okay, equal triangles on either side. Raw edges perfectly together. Don't pull. Let the machine do the work. And these are cool. Look at. So you should go exactly from one seam to the other. So that worked out perfect. So good news. Okay, raw edges exactly together. And I went and grabbed my stiletto because first of all, the thread is driving me crazy today. And second of all, you can hold the end better. You get a little more control here. So I'm having a hard time keeping my raw edges exactly together there. So I went and grabbed this because I remembered as I was doing this that this was how I did these smaller ones. I used my stiletto to hold the end as it goes under the foot. Seams open. And then we're going to trim. This black Okay. 3/4 inch trim line on the seam. Okay, edges lined up. Same thing again. There we go. Oh, did you see that? I had it perfect and then I moved it. There we go. Okay. Okay, so there's that guy. We're going to set him aside proudly because we have that good to go. And now step 2 is to make the roof. So your roof is the same thing again with the corner pop ruler. So you're going to need pieces A and J. Oh, I'm sorry. Step 2 is to add pieces C to either side of your birdie's little hidey hole. Okay, so you're going to sew those guys on with a 1/4 inch seam, and then we're going to press the seams out. So I'll show you real fast. Raw edges exactly together, and look at piece C should be exactly the same size from here to here. Or I guess I should say your hidey hole should be exactly the same size as piece C. And then your other piece C on the other side of the hidey hole. Pressure seams open. And when I know I'm going to press to one side, that's when I wait to use my folding pen. And you'll see on the pattern here, those little arrows show you pressing out. So that's how you know to take these seams and press them out away from the hidey hole. Okay, so we're going to set that guy aside and we're going to make our roof. Roof uses 1.5 inch trim lines, and I thought I grabbed a friction pen, but I didn't. We're going to cut away these 2 corners, okay? It really doesn't matter. You could cut away those 2 as long as they're across from each other on the long side. 1.5 inch trim lines. Okay, 1.5 this way and this way. It's okay, it doesn't matter. Jake, that's fine, just set it on the table. Jake's trying to pick up the pieces that I have flung all over the place. So, 1.5 inch trim line, starting to look like a roof. And this is piece J. We're going to cut him in half on the diagonal. So we have 2 triangles. And now we're going to sew those guys on there. There we go. That's better. No, it isn't. Okay. Let's try again. What I'm struggling with here is my raw edges don't want to line up and stay together. There we go. And the thread messes back. Okay, let's see if we can do this. There we go. Well, if that piece turns out, it's going to be a small miracle. Okay, let's press this guy open. It's just, this piece is problematic. Okay. And now we're going to trim on the 1.5 inch trim down line. 1.5. Okay, so when you have this issue, there's nothing sticking out down here, right? But there is a line here. So we want to make sure we've got the fabric lined up here, and we do. And then there's nothing here but this, see that line right there? That lines up, and along this straight line here, the piece lines up there, so we're good. And then we're going to do the same thing over here. I know it's going to surprise everybody. I'm having a hard time lining up this corner because this was the stubborn one. Okay, so what do? I can't get everything lined up. I can get it lined up here, I can get it lined up here, but look, I'm off over here. So what do? Well, I know I need the piece to be the right width, okay? So I'm going to line it up so it's the right width. And I'm going to fix it here. The truth is, I would remake this piece. I wouldn't use this. Clearly something went wrong. So I would not use this. But let's say this is the absolute last piece of fabric you have and whatever. This isn't coming to a point on our pattern. You can see on the birdhouse here, this is just, it's coming to a point and it's just ending at background fabric, okay? So we don't have to worry about it matching up with anything. So it is more important always that a piece is square than anything else. So like I said, you guys have plenty of fabric. You could remake this piece, and that's what I would do, is I would remake this piece. But I'm going to cut it just so that I can show you how to put together the rest of the block. Okay? So now you are through step 3. Step 4 is to take your pieces I and G and sew them together, and they're going to go together this way. Okay? They go together so they're long and tall. So you're going to sew those together, and you're going to press those seams towards the outside. Then you're going to take your hidey hole and you're going to add pieces B at the top and bottom. And you're going to press your seams toward pieces B. Then you add piece H out here. And then you're going to sew all 3 of these together. Hey guys, so I was cleaning up from the video and I found this green piece and I realized that it's supposed to go in here too. So the green piece of fabric that you cut is supposed to go here, okay? And when you sew all these together, it shrinks up enough that it'll all fit, okay? So green piece there. Sorry about that. Happy sewing. Now, if you finish all 3 trees and your 2 birdhouses, you need to bring them in for us to see. And if you finish them before the 15th of next month, because that's when you pick up your next kit, is November 15th. If you finish these guys before that, bring them in for us to see. You can even bring them when you pick up the next kit. And you get to write your name on a 2.5-inch square and put it in the prize bucket. The prize bucket is really fun because at the end of the sew along, somebody is going to win free long arming for this quilt. Okay, so you want to take as many opportunities as you can to get your name in that prize bucket, and that is a guaranteed way every month. So 3 trees, 2 birdhouses, bring them in to show them to us, and put your name in the prize bucket. If you have any problems at all, just email me. My email address will be in the email you got about your kit being ready for pickup and the links to this video. You can also call the shop. You can stop by at any time. If you stop by for help, bring what you're having trouble with, and bring your corner pop ruler if you need that, because most of the time we have one of these guys around here, but sometimes somebody has taken it home to work on a project, so it might not be here. So always bring your fabric and any specialty ruler that you are using, okay? Good luck, have fun. This quilt is going to be beautiful, and we look forward to seeing you soon.